So for a while now, I've been considering coming on here from time to time and espousing some of my views um, on what's going on politically and just in general on what's going on in the news media these days. Um, it's come to a point where I just feel like I need a way to vent some of this frustration. Um, just to be completely straightforward, um, a conservative, I lean conservative. I'm open-minded. I mean, if a Democrat makes, a legitimate point, I have no problem accepting that. Good ideas are good ideas. So I'm not some closed off, closed-minded, crazy conservative that's, stuck in my ways and that's all it's going to be. Um, I voted for Donald Trump both times. Um, I support channels like Liberal Hive Mind, Tyler Zed, um, Run Don't Walk Productions. Um, I also um, was a very big fan of Rush Limbaugh, Howie Carr out of Boston, talk radio. Also an author, did quite a few books on Bulger. Um, I am somewhat of a Glenn Beck fan, um, but I am a huge Steven Crowder fan. I follow the Quartering. These are the types um, of media that I prefer, to follow. But at the same time, I get up in the morning and I turn on CNN. I turn on MSNBC, um, because I try to see both sides. I want to see what both sides are saying. I mean, granted, sometimes it's just to make fun of what CNN's saying or what MSNBC's saying, but I do hear both sides. And I see a lot of people, including my own mother, who I'll mention something to her that I saw in the news, and she'll have no idea. She won't even know what I'm talking about because she hears the NBC side of it, and that's it. And I have a feeling that there's a lot of people out there that are affected this way. People have become so turned off to just the term Fox News. Um, I'm a big music fan, and I belong to a group called Everything Mike Patton. It's a Faith No More fan forum on Facebook. And going to break the other day on Fox News, they used a Faith No More song as buffer music. So I posted it, thinking I would get a great response because, it's a news channel using a pretty obscure rock band as their buffer music. So I posted it on the Faith No More fan page and I got blasted. I had people going to my personal Facebook page and threatening me, threatening my wife. Um, I mean, making horrible statements about my daughter simply because they couldn't see past that little fox icon that was in the corner of the video. And in reality, it was the last thing I thought of. I honestly thought I was going to get an extremely positive response. But props to the administrator, one of the administrators of that group. She really stepped up and defended me, and she she put an end to a lot of the worst of the threats that were coming, at least through the forum. Most people were smart enough not to do it through the forum. They went straight to my Facebook page and did it. But that's what I mean. It's become so divisive that people don't even want to take the opportunity to hear another viewpoint. Um, and for people that are so turned off by Fox News, I mean, I understand. I cringe whenever I see Don Lemon. You know what I mean? But Newsmax is a good option. Um, there's apps now. I believe one's called News World. I'll have to check. I actually have it on my phone. And it's a fantastic website because what they do is they'll take the headlines from one story and they'll give you, the New York Times headline, the Boston Herald headline, the LA headline, the CNN headline, the MSNBC headline, the Fox headline, and you can see how each one of them kind of, shifts the narrative by the way they, put the headlines up. And, then they'll have the stories too. And sometimes you read these and it's the same news story, but you would think you were on a completely different day reading a completely different story, the way they can switch the narrative around just by mixing their words up a little differently. And it's really hard to get truth nowadays. Um, I think that's the reason why channels like Steven Crowder are so important. Um, because he might not be the most gentle or delicate speaker. He's not going to give you his opinion in an easy to swallow way most of the times. But the fact of the matter is, he shows you both sides of the story, and he makes no bones about the fact that his opinion is his opinion, but here's the facts. And the fact that Facebook is so close to, YouTube is so close to eliminating him is actually really dangerous, because people like him are some of the last people that are out there giving you both sides. Um, Jeremy at the Quartering, he's another really great content producer who will give you both sides. Most people don't know he has a second channel called Westerly, and it's a more political leaning channel, but he does the same thing really. He'll give you both sides of the story and then his opinion. Another one I forgot to mention, Anthony Brian Logan, ABL. That man is, he's so well spoken and so intelligent, and you can just tell he's very genuine. He calls a spade, and it is what it is. If the story doesn't fit, what his political views are, he still tells it to you. And he might say, I wish it didn't go this way, but this is the way it went. Officer Tatum is another great one, for anything police related. That's another thing. I am not a fan of defunding the police. I think the police are underfunded. The fact that they want to take money away from the police departments is absolutely astonishing to me. The fact that some of these big cities are actually following through on it is even more astonishing. I don't understand what they think, reducing law enforcement is going to accomplish, because it's very clear that reducing law enforcement in some of these major cities has had a huge impact. If you look at the crime statistics right now, they're just going through the roof. I'm not sure which is climbing faster, gas prices or murder rates. And, to say it's all blue cities and blue states isn't completely true. It gets a lot of focus because some of the major hotspots are democratically run cities, but it's happening in Republican run cities too. Here in Boston, as terrible of a Republican as we have for a governor, Charlie Baker is barely a Republican, but Boston's seeing increasing crime rates. And Boston was a city that had pretty much been kept under control or brought under control by Democratic governors and Democratic mayors. And it's just the lack of policing and the lack of responsibility being put upon the criminals is astonishing now. People are being released with no bail. on their own recognizance for crimes that, you know, 10 years ago would have landed you a jail sentence. Armed robbery. I mean, pulling knives on people, mugging people in the streets, breaking and entering in the nighttime, felony larceny. I mean, it's just, these are all things they're not even being charged as felonies anymore. Felonious charges are now being reduced to misdemeanors. People are released on their own recognizance, and 3 or 4 years later, they might get picked up on a warrant for failure to appear, at which point they'll just be brought into court, handed a fine, and kicked to the street again. And with COVID now, I mean, court dates are 3 to 4 years out. I mean, people who took charges, during this period won't see a courtroom for years. And I have a very good feeling that a lot of these states are going to say, okay, well, all these misdemeanor charges that are backed up in the courts, we're just going to dismiss them. And, that'll be our gift to all the criminals of the cities and states that we live in. It's the only way I can see them rectifying the backlog of the courts, because I don't know about other states, but the speed that the court system moves in Massachusetts is comparable to a slug. But that's pretty much it. I just want to give an introduction on who I am, and what I'm going to be talking about. And I just, it's kind of almost fair warning. I mean, if these aren't subjects you're interested in or you don't like, I, to each their own. But I know today there's a lot of people that want to be out there and they want to just pick on content creators because of their political views, and start throwing up, putting flag in their content or whatever it may be. I think that's pretty childish. But, it is what it is. And, I'm going to give this a shot. And if people hate on it and want to try and shut it down, then, hey, best of luck to you. Shut it down. I mean, flag it. I don't care. But I'm doing this more for me than anybody else. But I appreciate anybody who listened, and I will definitely, be seeing you pretty soon. Thank you.